Hello, and welcome to the This Happened Today in History podcast. I am your host, Mr. Miller. This podcast will cover a number of topics that happened on this date in history. Please visit the podcast webpage at thishappenedtoday.buzzsprout.com. There you can download the notes page, which will help you organize the information as well as develop your own ideas on how these events change the world around us. If you're interested in hearing more, please consider subscribing so you will not miss out on what happens tomorrow in history.
Today is June 16th. On this day in 1884, the first roller coaster in America opened at Coney Island in Brooklyn, New York. Known as the Switchback Railway, it was the brainchild of Lamarcus Thompson, traveled approximately 6 miles per hour, and cost a nickel to ride. The new entertainment was an instant success, and by the turn of the century, there were hundreds of roller coasters around the country. Coney Island, a name believed to have come from a Dutch Konijn Island or Rabbit Island, is a tract of land along the Atlantic Ocean discovered by explorer Henry Hudson in 1609. The first hotel opened at Coney Island in 1829, and by the post-Civil War years, the area was an established resort with theaters, restaurants, and a racetrack. Between 1897 and 1904, 3 amusement parks sprang up at Coney Island Dreamland, Luna Park, and Steeplechase. By the 1920s, Coney Island was reachable by subway, and summer crowds of 1 million people a day flocked there for rides, games, sideshows, the beach, and the 2.5-mile boardwalk, completed in 1923. The hot dog is said to have been invented at Coney Island in 1867 by Charles Feltman. In 1916, a nickel hot dog stand called Nathan's was opened by a former Feltman employee who went on to become a Coney Island institution and international franchise. Today, Nathan's is famous not only for its hot dogs, but its hot dog eating contest, held each 4th of July at Coney Island. Roller coasters and amusement parks experienced a decline during the Great Depression and World War II when Americans had less cash to spend on entertainment. Finally, in 1955, the opening of Disneyland in Anaheim, California, signaled the advent of the modern theme park and a rebirth of the roller coaster. Disneyland's success sparked a wave of new parks and coasters. By the 1970s, parks were competing to create the most thrilling rides. By the 1960s, the major amusement parks at Coney Island had shut down and the area acquired a seedy image. In recent decades, it has been revitalized, however, and remains a popular tourist attraction. It is still home to the Cyclone, a wooden coaster that made its debut in 1927, capable of speeds of 60 miles an hour with an 85-foot drop. The Cyclone is one of the country's oldest coasters in operation today. And from Phil LeBeau in 2008, if you've read this blog for long, you know how I feel about hydrogen fuel cell cars. Great potential, limited real-world possibilities right now. That said, this morning, Honda gave us a glimpse into hydrogen's promise. It began production of its new hydrogen fuel cell car, the FCX Clarity. The company showed the car to reporters in Japan and introduced some of the first customers who will be leasing an FCX for $600 a month. The cars will be leased only in California because that state has the most developed infrastructure of hydrogen refueling stations in the United States. While the Clarity won't be here until late July, the hype over its mileage is already turning heads. Look at the numbers on the equivalent to gas for this car. City, 77 miles per gallon. Highway, 67 miles per gallon. A combination of 72 miles per gallon. And range, $280 on 1 tank of hydrogen. Honda is hoping to plant a flag and steal away some of Toyota's thunder when it comes to green cars. Toyota created the halo of goodwill with the Prius. Since then, other hybrids have still come out, and you can argue are better than the Prius. Still, that car remains king of the green. Honda would love to see the same thing happen with the new FCX Clarity. I think that it's a tall order right now simply because of the limited distribution for hydrogen fuel cell cars. Sure, they will get plenty of attention. Every TV network, newspaper, and magazine will hail its arrival. But in real-world terms, I think we need to see the FCX available everywhere before the public equates Honda with hydrogen fuel cell cars. This ain't happening for a while. Still, let's be clear, Honda's FCX Clarity marks a new day. For the first time ever, there will be a hydrogen fuel cell car available to lease, albeit in small numbers. The potential is amazing for Honda. The future is finally here. And finally, in 2012, Liu Yang became China's first woman in space after she and 2 male colleagues were blasted off from the edge of the Gobi Desert en route to the Tiangong space module. The 33-year-old is a major in China's Air Force. State TV, which has aired documentaries about her, say that she trained hard and she trained to fly transport planes, was cool under pressure with a multiple bird strike, disabled 1 engine on her plane. Hailing from the central province of Henan, she also described as an eloquent speaker, avid reader, and lover of cooking. Miss Liu first joined the Army in 1997 and has flown 1,068 flying hours since then. On China's Tencent QQ messaging service, she goes by the name Little Flying Knight. She was recruited into China's space program only 2 years ago, but she excelled in the official news agency says. From day one, I have been told I am no different from the male astronaut, she told state media. As a pilot, I flew in the sky. Now that I'm an astronaut, I will fly in space. This flight will be much higher and further away. In a TV press conference from the launch site, she appeared alongside her male colleagues, saying perseverance was the key to success and pledged not to let China down. But as a child, Miss Liu considered different careers. She said she first wanted to become a lawyer like the ones in television series. Then it added the first time she sat on a bus with her mother, she also thought of becoming a bus conductor, which would be great as she could ride the bus every day. In an interview on China's CCTV, she said she felt guilty that she had not been able to spend time with her family during intense training for the missions. Her husband has been supportive. Ms. Liu said, "I'm very thankful to him."
You have been listening to the This Happened Today in History podcast. I thank you for listening, and I hope that you have enjoyed learning about historical events from the past. Thank you to the following websites for their information regarding today's topics:
ThePeopleHistory.com, U.S. First Roller Coaster at History.com, the Honda FCX Clarity Hydrogen Fuel Cell Cars at CNBC.com, and the first Chinese woman in space at BBC.com. The music used as the background track for this podcast is Americana, created by Kevin MacLeod on Incompetech.com. If you enjoyed this information and would like to hear more, please consider subscribing, as this will keep the historical events in your feed in the morning for each day. I hope you have a great day.